Solve and graph your solution. Write your answer in interval notation. 2x squared is less than x plus 10. So we need to have all our variables on one side of the equation. And while we're at it, we might as well bring this 10 over also. We now have 2x squared minus x minus 10 is less than 0. And this factors nicely. Two sets of parentheses, 2x and x in the front. 10 is 1 and 10 or 2 and 5. 2 wouldn't go with the 2, so we'd put it over there, and 5 here. The signs are different. The result is negative. So I need a negative 5 with a positive 4, and that'll do it for us. But now I don't know if both of these are great or less than 0, both being negative, or if one is negative and one is positive, and if so, which one is negative and which one is positive. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. We'll take this 2x minus 5 times this x plus 2, and instead of saying that it's less than 0, for right now we'll say that it is equal to 0. So we can find some good endpoints, some places to test numbers to see what's happening. According to the zero product property, if you're going to multiply and get 0 as your answer, then one of the things you multiplied by, called a factor, has to be 0. So now we're going to solve these two simple problems. I add 5 to both sides of the equation, we get 2x equals 5. And multiplying both sides of the equation by 1/2, we get x is equal to 5/2. For the other equation, we can add a negative 2 to both sides of the equation, and we get x is equal to negative 2. So on our number line, we found a couple of numbers, negative 4, negative 2, 0, 2, 4. So I really request that you have numbers evenly spaced on your number line. Then if you have something strange like 5/2 to put into the problem, which happens to be 2.5, then you could enter that in separately. So the numbers we're talking about are negative 2, that was one of the answers, and 5/2, that's the other answer. Our original inequality was strictly less than, so these will be open circles. And then I'll have to find some numbers to test. I never test the numbers that I find for answers, I test numbers around those. So on the left of negative 2 is something like negative 4. Between negative 2 and 5/2 is 0. And on the other side of 5/2 is something like 4. So I'll put these numbers back in the original inequality. So the first number I'll test is negative 4 in the original inequality. Negative 4 squared is 16, positive. 16 times 2 is 32. Is supposed to be less than negative 4 plus 10 is 6. And positive 32 is not less than 6. So now we'll test the 0 in the original inequality. 0 squared is 0. 0 times 2 is 0. 0 added to 10 is 10. And 0 is less than 10. That's a yes. So again, this number I was testing is 0. And the number line 0 was between the two answers that I found. So I'm going to shade between those two answers. And then I will also test the last number. We don't want to go around assuming that we know that it doesn't work. We actually need to show that it doesn't work. So 4 squared is 16, times 2 is 32 again, is less than 4 plus 10 this time is 14. And again, that's not true. So again, there's no shading. Interval notation, we would have a parenthesis, negative 2, comma, and a parenthesis around 5/2.